Hey everybody, what's up and welcome back to my channel. I know it's been a little while since I have posted. We actually were on vacation here recently and I did not have time to pre-film and get those videos scheduled for y'all. So it ended up being some very much needed time off and I am excited and happy to be back here with you guys filming for you. And today, I can't believe we're already about midway through December, so it's really time for me to film my favorite beauty products of 2019 so that I can share that with you, what worked for me, not just what worked for me, but what really stood out for me. And I was surprised at how much I picked out for this video because honestly, I don't think 2019 saw a whole, well, in my mind, I didn't think that it saw a whole lot of amazing, stellar products just because we've always talked about, or not always, but this year we've talked about like just the oversaturation of the beauty market, and I truly was surprised that I had so much to share with you guys. So for the sake of not making this a super long video, I'm not going to swatch every single thing. I'll give you like a swatch here and there just so that you can see why I love the product so much. But aside from that, we are going to move quickly and I'm just going to let you know why each one of these is just an amazing product for me for this year. So let's get started with some skincare. This you've seen me talk about over and over again ever since I purchased it from the spring VIB sale, and it's the Youth to the People Superberry Hydrate and Glow Dream Mask. This thing has done wonders for my skin. I don't really have problematic skin, but this just really took my skin to, I don't know, like another level that I didn't think it could get to. It's just hydrated, glowy, just really, really nice. And people ask me on the regular what I use on my skin, and this has been so great. I am a little more than halfway through this, so come the next spring sale, it will be time for me to get another, but it is amazing and I highly recommend. As far as primer, there wasn't really much in the way of primer that stood out to me except for this, and it's not, I don't think it was released in 2019, but there was a lot of hype around it. It's the Farsali Liquid Glass. I just really like the tackiness that this gives my skin without also drying it out. And then it almost gives my skin like a blank canvas for the foundation to go on. I don't know, something about it. It's very much like in different ways, but I like it as much, or almost as much, as the Tatcha Silk Canvas. It's a very different formula, obviously, very different texture, but it does what I want it to do in that sense, and I very much enjoy this. That was a standout product for me. The next one is the Kaja Wink Stamp. If you've watched my videos throughout this year, then you know that I have been using this on the regular ever since I got it. If you struggle with a wing liner, then this is right up your alley because it almost cuts your time in half. I had to learn, it took me a couple of times to learn exactly where to position it so that the wing wasn't too high or too low. But aside from that, you get a left side wink stamp or little liner stamp, and then you get one for the right side as well. And literally it's a little triangle. You wouldn't think much of it, but it makes my lines even. Whereas like today, they're so uneven, and it's because I didn't use the wink stamp. I think it was like $25 for this and the liner, and I have been using it on the regular. So the next thing is not a 2019 release. However, I did pick it up very latter part of 2019, November actually, and I have been using it nonstop, and this thing is every single bit true to the hype, and it's the P. Louise base. Now, I picked mine up at the Morphe store, and they were out of the shade 1.0, so I ended up getting 0.5, and it's a little lighter than what I'd like, but it also makes the colors pop even more. And so this thing makes your colors pop on your eyes, and also the longevity, it doesn't crease. This thing is, I think, $15, and it's every bit as worth the hype as they say, and this is going to last me forever because this tube, I haven't even made a dent, and I have been using it so regularly. Okay, let's move on to foundation. So there's two foundations that I really loved this year. One of them, I think a lot of people are going to put in their 2019 favorites. It's the Fenty Pro Filter Hydrating foundation, and I love the matte foundation. I don't find that it's too drying or too matte, but this one really is great in the way of making my skin look hydrated without looking too cakey. So this was definitely a plus, or just like one of the best foundations for me for this year. In addition, now that it's winter, my skin has been a little bit on the drier side, and this has been my go-to because it's not drying out my skin, which I love. The other amazing foundation, and honestly, if I had to choose from these two, it would be this one. And it's the Stay Naked by Urban Decay. This thing gives me beautiful coverage, but it's so lightweight that it doesn't feel like you're wearing anything on your skin, and the shade range is perfect. Mine is in the shade 40NN, and it's the, I think it's the light medium neutral. But I love this foundation so much. It's like in the summer, it doesn't feel like you're wearing like a heavy layer. It's not cakey. You know, sometimes when you wear super heavy foundation in the summer, it almost makes your face kind of sweat a little more. And this is so perfect. I love, love, love this foundation. And I will be continuing to use it in the new year. So that, I think, covers it for like foundation and skincare. Actually, no, there's more back there. We'll come back to that. Let me finish what I have in my basket, but it didn't all fit, so I had to overflow onto the desk. So let's move on to, this is not necessarily makeup, but these things just blew up this year, obviously because of large beauty influencers. But the little Swarovski crystals that everyone's been using like on their eyes, and I know it was a TV show that prompted this. I've not watched that TV show. I don't plan to. I think it's a little out there for me, and so I don't have any plans to watch them. But these little, I'm trying to grab one on my finger so that you can see, but these little crystals are so easy to use, and you can get them in such an array of, I don't know if this is going to work. Anyways, you can get them in such an array of colors, and they stick on so easily with eyelash glue, just like everybody uses, and they don't come off until I pluck them off. Really, really nice, and a good way to add like extra flair to your makeup without really a whole lot of effort. So love those. I had picked those up at Michael's in an array of colors, and I love using them. The next product that was just, this is probably hands down my favorite bronzer, in conjunction with one of the Kylie bronzers, but this is the Fenty Beauty Sunstalker bronzer in the shade Shady Biz. This is probably going to be on a ton of people's end of year favorites as well. It again, it lives up to the hype. It was perfect shade match for me. Just like neutral, but not being too deep or too, you know, too light. I don't know. Something about it is just perfect. And the matte finish, it's not too matte, but it just goes on like a very natural, like you just walked in from out of the sun. And so this is nothing you have not seen before, but that's what it looks like on my skin tone. So you can tell it doesn't, you may not even be able to see it because it doesn't look, it's not too deep. But that's the thing, it builds up so nicely, and on me it ends up just looking so, so pretty. So let me kind of build it up for you so that you can see what it looks on my skin tone, and it's perfect. I love this bronzer, and I keep reaching for it. Okay, so in the way of a highlighter, I've got a couple of highlighters. This one's by Jouer, and it is called the Molten Glow All Over Face and Body Highlighter. It comes with this little glitter cover. They re-released it, in case you missed it the first time. They re-released it for holiday, and it includes like one of the lip toppers. This is a very stunning, very bold highlight, so if you are into the more subtle, then it's really, you'd have to go in with a light hand. This kind of makes you look like you've got like lights on your face. It's so pretty. And for the price, it's like, it blows my mind. So that's what that looks like right there. Very, very glowy, very reflective. Again, for the price tag, this is an amazing product, and this just blew my mind for 2019. Let's move on to a couple of other highlights. This next one is by Too Faced, and granted, their Tutti Frutti lineup was not specific to 2019. However, this particular shade was. It's the shade Berries and Bubbly, and the reason I love this duo so much is for the highlighter. This is an incredibly reflective highlighter. I was not expecting it to be as shiny as it was, and when I put it on the first time, it blew my mind. So you get the benefit of the smell, you get the benefit of having a blush in this little duo, and the highlight is amazing. It does have a pink tone to it, which typically I'm not crazy about, but this one just works. It's almost like a champagne type of pink, and it doesn't look too, I'm just not a fan of those pinks that have been coming out, that like the new Rihanna one or the new Fenty Diamond Bomb, but volume 2 that has that pink shift. Those kind of pinks I'm not a fan of. This one just works for me. The last two highlighters are by Colourpop, and they're both Disney collection highlighters. One of them is from the Villains collection, and it's the Maleficent highlight. This one is it's like a Super Shock highlight, but it's very bold. I love it more than Lunch Money. Gosh, what's the other one that I really like so much? It's a popular one. I can't remember the name. But it's more bold than either one of those. And this is one of those things where I don't ever want it to dry up or run out because it is very, very up my alley. It's reflective. It's very easy to use. It goes on so, so nicely. I hope you can see that. But it's right there. And that reflective spot is that highlighter. And I think it was like $8. So with Colourpop, you can never go wrong. The next one is from their newest designer Disney collection, and this one is in the shade Horse and Carriage. It's the Cinderella highlight, and the packaging is so, so pretty. Just, I loved all the Disney releases from Colourpop this year. The Villains, this one, and then the Frozen 2 palettes. Those were awesome. This is also a very, very reflective highlight. I think it's the lightest one of the bunch. But again, for the price and for what you get, if you like a bold highlight, then this was perfect. And this is whiter than the other one I swatched for you. It's got like more of an icy tone, but it's very, very pretty, very reflective, and very economical. So this was definitely a like stand out for 2019. It's hard to believe you can get such amazing quality at this price. It makes you want to just like leave all the high-end stuff and go to something like this, but that was a total win for 2019. Right. For blush, I really just have one, and it's actually a more recent blush, and this one was so good that I feel like I want to buy a couple of the others, maybe in the next sale or something. But I've kind of gotten away from buying single blushes just because palettes are the easiest and best way for me to go, price tag wise, and then just the fact that you get a variety of options are easy to travel with. So I really do neglect my singles at this point. Until now. The Patrick Ta blushes are so incredible. This one has such an amazing sheen that even though I got it the latter part of the year, like it just blew my mind so much that I knew this was one of my favorite products, even though it took all year to get here. So this one's in the shade She's Passionate, and it's probably like the pinkiest one of the bunch, and they're very buildable. Again, this one has a sheen. It makes you look so healthy. It doesn't look like you have a powder blush sitting on top of your skin, like most of them do. It's very, very pretty. It just kind of melts into the skin and looks really, really natural, really nice. I love this. And you may not even be able to see this on my skin tone because, again, it does take some building. Let me build it a little bit more for you so that you can see what it looks like on my skin tone. I know several of y'all do share my same skin tone, which is a light to light medium neutral, and what works for me really does end up working for you. So that's what that looks like right there. Again, just a really soft flush, but it's so, so pretty. I kept it in its box. I know some people think that's ridiculous, but I like the packaging. I think it's so, so pretty that I'm not ready to part with the box quite yet, and I'm all about packaging, so that is that. Okay, let's move on to some eyeshadow palettes. Speaking about Colourpop, let's move on with that. The Sweet Talk palette was absolutely hands down one of my favorite palettes, not only by Colourpop, but overall for the year, for 2019. The color scheme just suits my skin tone so nicely that it makes my skin look healthy. I don't know, something about these peachy shades really do work well for me. I kind of like their glitters that they put in here. I know they're not eye safe. I know most of us use them anyways. Not the best idea, I'm sure, but I do like the glitters in there because if I want an added pop, I can just use this same palette to go in with one of those. But these shades just are so, again, complementary, and they're like, there's a good variety of peachy shades, which makes it nice. And I think this was probably $15, maybe $18, but I was so glad that I had picked it up. It sold out a few times. It is one of their permanent palettes, but it's so great. I love that palette, and I do reach for it quite regularly because of the peachy tones. Out of all the peachy tones in the palettes I own, I have found those to be the best. Okay, let's stick with Colourpop and go on to, again, one of the Disney collections. And this was the Disney Villains palette. I did not think I was going to like this as much as I did. When I first saw the stock photos, it looked a lot like I'm not a fan of just jewel tones. I don't know, something about it. I don't reach for them. I don't use them as often, and that's what I thought this was going to be. So I was going to order it anyways. It's Disney. But I ended up loving this palette more than I can say. And this is hands down, again, one of my favorite palettes of 2019. It's a little bit dusty, but these shades are so pigmented and so rich that they just pop in a way that most Sephora or most palettes that I would get at Sephora don't, which is crazy. So, and again, I think this was probably like 18, maybe it was 20 because of the Disney theme, I don't remember, but such a good palette. And I have, let's see, I took this on a trip this year and I can't remember which one. I think it was to Disney World in October when we went for Halloween. And they're just, let me show you how rich these are. Like, I barely swatched that. I barely put my finger in there. And it's got this sparkle, like foiled finish that just makes it so, so nice. And it's easy to use. So that was definitely a favorite for 2019. Let's move on to Violet Voss. There were a couple of palettes this year from Violet Voss that just, as soon as I started using them, I knew they were favorites, not only for the year, but just overall. And another peachy palette, actually, since we were just talking about Sweet Talk palette. But this is the Coral Crush palette by Violet Voss. I kind of knew I was going to love this when I placed the order, but it's kind of one of those things where you could be disappointed, even more so if you really think it's going to work for you. This lived up to every expectation I had. I love the packaging. It's got this purple and coral, which is so complimentary. And then just the shade range in here. It's kind of like the Colourpop one, but just even more so because there's more shades. This being a coral palette has so many different shades of coral. And that's what I love. When Natasha Denona released her little 5-pan coral palette, that's the expectation I had for this one. The only thing is that one had like one coral shade. And so it was like, well, this is a coral palette and I don't see a whole lot of coral. It was still a beautiful palette, but not what I had expected. This was everything I expected. And just like I told you with the Sweet Talk palette, this one complements my skin tone so, so well. I love using this, especially in the summer when I can really bronze up my skin. This just really pops and stands out. The shades in this are very pigmented. Now, I know the Violet Voss formula to be a little bit drier in their mattes, and this is no exception, but it doesn't change the quality of how they go on the eyes. Like, I have not ever found a Violet Voss, like, shadow to be subpar because it's dry. They are very, very pigmented. That's even without a base. That's not even putting on like a NYX Milk eye stick or whatever. That's just straight up on my skin, and it's very vibrant and very, very pretty. Sticking with Violet Voss, I've got one other palette of hers, and that's the Best Life palette. This one went on sale during like Black Friday. It may still even be on sale, and I can't, well, it's kind of one of those things where if it's limited edition, do you buy it at full price or do you wait it out and see if it's going to go on sale? I didn't really want to wait it out. It was such a good price to begin with, and I can't remember if it's limited edition. I don't remember. Anyways, it may still be an incredible price at this point, but this for me, I love glitters. I love glitter on the eye. I love sparkle. I love foil, metallic, all of that. I can do without mattes. I want all of the standout stuff. And this palette just really, it has it all. So it's got the mirror on one side, but it folds out and you've got a set of glitters right in here, which is really, really nice because you've got an array of colors. So you don't even have to go to your little pots of glitter. It's right here. And then you've got an amazing set of shades. It's not even like, so here's the thing, I'm not as much of a neutral girl as I am like the brights, and so this one has a ton of brights. It's got a couple of neutrals in case you want to, like, you know, tone it down a little bit or just go for a little bit of an easier day, but it has got some really awesome blues, greens, pink, just purple, very, very pretty. So it's very versatile, and again, the glitters are incredible. They feel like sand to the touch, and you hardly even need to dip your hand in there or your finger in there to get a good amount of product and or payoff. So let me give you some swatches of these. Glitters are harder to swatch, but that's the glitter. It's really opaque, very incredible, and this palette was just hands down one of the best for this year. It's kind of nice when you've got like the quality and you've got a one-stop shop with your palette. You don't have to, I don't mind reaching for several, and I've told you all that before. It helps me put more palettes to use at one time, but when you've got it in a one-stop shop, it's even better just because then you don't have to be deciding what do I want to pair, and you can just take it to travel with you and it's easy peasy. Okay, from this basket, I've got a couple of last things. One of the Pat McGrath quads for the holiday season. This one blew my mind. Now, I did also pick up Ritualistic Rose. It's very pretty. I like it. But this one for me was just the stellar, I don't know. I was going to include the new Midnight Sun palette in this 2019, but honestly, this one even to me like was better than that one just because of the unique shades in here that I've never seen from Pat McGrath. So the blue and the green are incredible, and they've got this shift. I wore it in a YouTube video one time, and as I was editing the video I was like, this is the best eyeshadow ever. So this quad was perfect. I know it's not available anymore, and I'm sorry to put it out here when you can't get it anymore, although if you go the eBay route, you know, you probably could, but in the sake of this being one of my very favorites for 2019, I really did have to put it in here. So I'm going to give you swatches of the two shades that I love the most and that make this just one of the best 2019 products. And that's the blue and the green, just really, really pretty. Like I said, especially the green has like this shift to it. It almost kind of turns a little bit brown. And the blue is like a swimming pool blue, which again, I have never seen from Pat McGrath. So that's just, it's perfect to have that unique, you know, color or shade in this little quad. So this definitely was one of my favorites of 2019. And again, Ritualistic Rose is beautiful, but this one for me was the one that really stood out as being one of the best for this year. Okay, and then from this basket, two left, let's see, and they're Kylie palettes. So I know a lot of y'all are not really as big on Kylie Cosmetics. I do love the brand because I feel like it has what I'm looking for every single time. And these palettes, I feel like people weren't as crazy about these because you can't go in with a brush for certain shades. You have to use your finger in order to get that maximum payoff. But that's okay because I do that with all my palettes anyways. There are shades in these that just stand out so beautifully, so nicely, but they're that foiled type of standout shade that I really love so much. So this, for example, is the summer palette, and I love it. The times that I've used it, and I haven't used it in a few months because I really geared this towards summer, but I just enjoyed using it so very much, and every single time I knew that this was like one of my favorite palettes, and I keep on saying that, but palettes really are my favorite thing. I feel like I bought a lot of palettes this year. And so for the volume of palettes that I purchased, this is actually quite minimal. But anyways, so there is this chunky shade right here. And that is the type of shade I'm talking about where you can't really pick it up with a brush. You have to get it with your finger. But once you get it with your finger and smooth it on your lid, it is the shiniest, most foiled, most sparkly shade ever. And then she also included kind of one of those little glitters in here. And the shade for the glitter is also very unique and very pretty. So again, just really enjoyed. You're not going to be able to see the glitter very well. Again, I don't swatch those very nicely. So these two right here are from this palette, and I love them. I love them. They are just, I think they're good quality. Again, I feel like everybody has their opinion on everything, but also on Kylie products or palettes. And you know what's funny is I love watching Nicole Concilio, and she gets the sets or the collections as they're about to release, and I love watching her videos, and she wasn't crazy about the last couple of, you know, launches. And so anyways, but this is the birthday palette, and I do have the Christmas palette over here. I do love it. It's very pretty. I just haven't had enough time to really play around with it to see, there's a lint, to make sure that it is one of my favorite products. But this palette has this neon lime green shade that is everything. It's so unique. I have nothing like it in my collection. And that's not the only reason I love this palette so much for this year, but it's definitely one of the reasons. It's so, so pretty. I'll give you this pink shade too. But again, these apply best when used with your fingers, and not a lot of people like to do that. And they like to go in with a brush, but that's what those two look like. It's just so, so pretty. I love them. I can't get enough. Okay, let me put this little basket down. I actually have one more palette to show you. Okay, this last palette is truly the most recent palette that I've purchased. That's not really true, because I purchased the 3 butterfly palettes by Colourpop that are at Ulta, but I have not even started to use those yet. So I'm not going to put those in here when I don't know. This particular palette, Morphe's very hit or miss for me. I don't buy all of their palettes. It really has to stand out to me as far as like the color scheme in order for me to want to pick it up. This particular one is their holiday palette, and it was like $42, and it was on my loves list at Ulta. And then randomly the price dropped on their holiday stuff, and so it went down to, I don't even remember, maybe in the 30s, and then I had a 20% off coupon. So I think it was like $28, and I thought that warrants me picking it up. Like, I do want to try it at that price. And I have been using this palette nonstop since picking it up. Now granted, again, I know it's a more recent purchase. I haven't used it near as long as I have everything else in this video, but I have been using it on the daily. And honestly, it's what I have on my eyes today. It's so, so good. There's so much variety, and the quality is, it's one of the ones that was a hit for me. It wasn't a miss. This thing is huge, and it has everything that I would want. It has like the brights, it has variety, it has these shimmer shades, which I didn't know if they were really going to work for me, because they're kind of thin when you swatch them. Once you put them on the eye, they give you such a twinkle effect that is so pretty. And then you've got 2 glitters, which I think most brands are now jumping on that bandwagon for this. Love, love, love this palette. It is so good. I can't believe I got it at the price tag that I did, and I have not stopped using it. Been using it every single day since I purchased it, which is crazy for me because I do like to vary it up. Okay, so now we've got a few things here resting on the desk that I'm going to have to reach for one at a time. Let me take a step back. So in case you're wondering about the Huda Mercury Retrograde palette, I would assume that would be in this video. I love her palettes. That one looks absolutely stunning, and I don't even need to use it to know that I love it. However, I have not really had a chance to use it. I've used it like once, and I loved it that once, but I haven't really been able to use it enough times to say it's one of my 2019 favorites. And a lot of that's just because I haven't really been able to do a whole lot of just like detailed makeup over the last few weeks, and so a lot of it's just been simple, and we've been on the go and on vacation and all that. So I'm assuming that I would have put it in this video, but I'm not going to just for that. So this next product is really not a 2019 release. I think it's been out for a good year, 2 years, but I purchased it during the sale because I saw Raw Beauty Christie use it in her video, in one of her videos, and I was like, so I really do trust her opinion. I think she's really raw when it comes to like just speaking out on what she likes, what she doesn't like, and I like that. I think I know I can trust her opinion, and yeah, so as soon as I saw that she had used it and that she was kind of speaking highly about it, I went and I picked it up, and it's the Amika Smooth, I think it's called Smooth Operator Brush. Anyways, I have very fine, thin hair. I used to have thick, curly hair. Over the course of time, I have used a flat iron to straighten it every day. This was like right after high school, but for a few years. I'd straighten it every day, and so I changed the shape of the curl. Stress over time has really like thinned out my hair. Anyways, I have very fine, thin hair. So typically what I do is I flat iron the roots, and then I'll leave the rest, or I'll curl it with a curling wand or something like that. On occasion, I'll do the curl or straighten with the flat iron. However, if I straighten it with the flat iron, my hair looks stringy and kind of gross. It's a little too straight just because of the type of hair that I have. Well, this has been such a game changer for my hair. It is crazy about like the difference on damage you can get from flat iron to this. This I don't know, something about it. It just doesn't really damage my hair. Now granted, I don't use it every single day. I typically use it the day after I've washed my hair. And like, for example, today I didn't use it. The only thing I did, I went in with a mini flat iron and just kind of flattened out or straightened out a little bit of the root where like I've washed my face and it kind of curled up at the root, got a little frizzy. But I use this once after having washed my hair, and I wash my hair every 3rd day. This thing is worth its weight in gold. So if you've got hair like mine, I would highly suggest trying this thing out. It's so easy to use. It literally, like in 10 minutes, less than 10 minutes, my hair is done. And so it's just so easy. You just kind of hold it out, you pull the brush down. The handle doesn't get hot. Like even this really doesn't get hot. The whatever these are called, the bristles, plastic bristles, they don't get hot. The heat is like in the paddle area, and so I'm notorious for burning myself with curling wands and stuff. This thing, amazing. It was so worth it. Now it is on sale. The set came with like a little blow dryer and a few travel size things. It's on sale from $120 to $96 right now, and I think that's what I paid for it with my 20% discount. So I purchased it before it had gone on sale. Let's grab a couple of other things off of here. We're reaching the end, I promise you guys. I told you there's a lot of stuff and I needed to move quickly. So let's go over these skincare products. So the first, and both of these were released in 2019 by the way, the Tatcha Dewy Skin Cream. What can I say? This thing, I feel like this thing was all the hype and then it kind of just fizzled out. This is so good if you have parched skin, if you're looking for that dewy finish, if you're looking maybe without makeup, or even if you're looking for like a dewy finish to like have under your foundation. This thing is so good, but it's very, very thick. So it truly is a dewy skin cream. You can go in with quite a little bit really, and it goes a long way just because it's so thick. I love it. I love how it smells. It smells just like Tatcha products do. And I've used it a fair amount. Now granted, I have been rotating out my products, but I still have like what seems to be between 3/4 and a full little pot. So, and I bought this during the spring sale, so there will be no need for me to purchase another one this upcoming sale because I'm still using this one and I love it. The other cream that even I probably like more than the dewy skin cream, and that's a very high claim, is the Glamglow Moisture Trip Omega Rich Moisturizer. This thing is so, it's also rich but not thick in the way of the dewy skin cream, and it's got like almost, well at least on me, like a cooling sensation that in the summer when I was putting it on after I'd come back from the pool and take a shower, like it just made my skin feel so quenched. And I love using this under foundation. This gives me the moisture I need. I'll go in with my SPF, let that sit for a little bit, and then I'll go in with this a lot of times as my primer, and it just works so nicely. So I'm probably about 3/4, or I've got 3/4 of a little tub. Again, same thing with this. A little bit goes a long way. I love this stuff. These two were just perfect for me for 2019. This next one I think is also a 2019 release, and I use it pretty regularly, and I am still right here. It's the Glamglow Supertoner Exfoliating Acid Solution. Now, a lot of times these kind of products can dry out your skin, so I would just suggest, you know, maybe asking for a sample or something to see if it really would work for you. For me, it tightens up my pores, and it just gives my skin, it's got like a peppermint sensation, kind of a peppermint smell. So it just really tightens up my pores, it freshens my face, and it removes any other traces of makeup that I may have missed. I love this stuff. I love it so much, and it actually wasn't really recommended to me just because of the drying properties, but I don't use it every single day. I typically will use it every other day, and again, I bought this during the spring sale as well, and look at the dent I've made. Hardly any. So it'll be a while before I have to purchase another one of these. I love that product. This one is a product that got kind of bad reviews. I love this so much that during the next sale I will purchase the medium shade. It's the NYMPH Not Your Mama's Pantyhose by Huda. This is so stunning on the skin, you guys. Like, it gives you such a foiled look, which if you're not into that, then yes, this is not for you. But the reviews have been so bad because people say it's patchy because it dries so quickly that you don't hardly have a chance to buff it out. That is true. However, if you put just a drop, like literally almost nothing, of lotion mixed in with this and then buff it into your skin, A little bit goes such a long way. It looks absolutely beautiful. Your skin looks radiant and glowy, and it doesn't transfer onto my clothes. If I add lotion, the littlest bit of lotion, it does not transfer onto my clothes. So this is like the product I've always wanted for my chest and my shoulders and my legs, and it's finally here, and I hate that it's getting such bad reviews. I don't want her to discontinue it for that, but love, love, love this product. This probably is, if I had to pick from all of the products that I picked for 2019, this is probably number one. I know, surprising. I've got just a couple of things left. This particular product is not, sorry, I'm reaching for my other stuff. This particular product is not a 2019 release. However, I did pick mine up during the 2019 spring sale, and I will be repurchasing like for years to come. It's the TLC Sukari Baby Facial Resurface and Reveal Mask. This, I think, paired with the Dream Mask that I showed you at the beginning, these have been the game changers for my skin. Granted, this isn't cheap. It's like $80, but if you can get it on sale and make it last, then it's absolutely worth it. Again, if I had to pick a product, a top product from all of these items, aside from what I just showed you in the NYMPH Body Glow, this would be one of them, just because the makeup, yes, it's beautiful, but unless you're taking care of your skin and your skin looks good, then it's hard for the makeup to look good. And this has been so amazing. I mean, hands down, I absolutely love this product for 2019, and I will love it, I'm sure, for 2020, 2021, all of that. As far as my sprays, one is a 2019 product, the other I don't think is. I think it's been a couple of years. The Morphe Continuous Setting Mist. Again, Morphe's kind of hit or miss for me, but nothing has ever come close to this mist. It just, like, the fact that it's continuous is perfect. The sprayer is amazing, and it just really sets everything in to where I don't look as powdery, and no other spray has been able to do for me what this one does. And it smells good, and it's a decent price. The other one that kind of runs a close second, but the sprayer you do have to keep pumping, is by L'Oreal. It's the Lumi Shake and Glow Dew Mist. This one is probably like 10 bucks, I think. And I'm halfway through, and I have been using the heck out of this over the past probably like 5 or 6 months. I love it. It's very, very light, just like the Morphe. Again, the only difference I think is that you really just have to pump. It would be nice if it were continuous as well, but this one is just a close second to this one. And I think it's crazy how you can buy the high-end, more expensive ones and not get as good of a product as these, which are less. Last, but certainly not least, is a drugstore product. I don't buy a whole lot of dry shampoo. I do buy some just because I wash my hair every third day, so there's times where I really do need it up in my scalp. And this is the Pantene Never Tell Dry Shampoo. It smells amazing, the sprayer is awesome, and it just goes into my hair so easily without making my hair feel powdery. This has been the best dry shampoo I've ever used, and I will continue to use it for, as long as they make it. Honestly, I don't feel the need to buy any high-end dry shampoo. This really does the trick for me. They also have something called Mist Behaving, which is a conditioner mist. I use that as well. I love it, but this one is awesome, and this was a 2019 release. So that does it, you guys. That's a whole lot of products that I loved for the year 2019, which again is kind of weird because I feel like 2019 didn't bring with it a whole lot of game-changing products, but I still loved a lot. But anyways, I hope that you found this beneficial, and maybe there's a couple of products that kind of piqued your interest. I'll list everything down in the description box below so that you know exactly what product it is and you can check it out for yourself. Alright guys, thank you again for watching this video. I hope you found it beneficial and helpful, maybe just entertaining. Please, if you don't mind, giving me a thumbs up. That really does help me out, as usual. And if you are new to my channel, I'd really love it if you stuck around and be a part of this YouTube family. If so, I hope you'll consider clicking that subscribe button. I know you hear this from all channels, but the notification bell really does help, because if not, you're not notified when I post any videos. Before I let you go, you guys, I have to give you a real quick verse of the day just to motivate and encourage you. Today's comes from Matthew 5:8, and it says, Jesus said, "Blessed are the pure in heart, for they will see God." All right, friends, thank you again for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care. Bye.